So when I think about the productivity funnel and I think what's required, I'm reminded of two quotes from two NFL people. One was an owner, was a coach and then an owner, and the other is a coach today. And the coach who became the owner is a guy named Al Davis, very colorful. And he used to have a saying, just win, baby. Just win, baby. That was it, you know? And just focus, baby. You know, just focus. If you focus and you follow through, you cannot help but produce amazing results. And that's what the productivity funnel is all about. The other is Bill Belichick. And he has a famous saying, just do your job. Don't worry about anybody else. Just do your job. And that's what the productivity funnel is all about. Just do your job. You put out what you're going to do. You lay it down. You lay it out. Just do it. That's it. You know, I'll explain to people, look, success, you know, sometimes I look like a hero because I'll work with people and they'll produce extraordinary results. And I always caution them. And I say, look, I appreciate the credit, but you deserve 95% of the credit. All I did was focus you. Maybe I, helped instill some accountability. But at the end of the day, you're the one that did it. I can't do it for you. And that's what the productivity funnel is all about. It's all about laying out a plan and then following through. It matches beautifully with the personal strategic plan workbook, right? The personal strategic plan workbook where I talk about long and short-term goals. Well, it's all well and good to put them together in some of a brainstorming manner, but how do I put them into a formula that works for me during the course of 2020, or again, whenever you're looking at this video presentation? And the answer is the productivity funnel. You see, what you want to do is identify your annual goals, your quarterly goals, your monthly goals, your weekly goals, and your daily goals. Now, I say that slowly and deliberately because for effect. Because here's what many people will say. God, it's all those goals. I mean, it's too much. Well, first of all, have you taken a look at how much time you need to invest? Number two is, I don't know anybody who is super successful who doesn't have very clear goals like this. You know, a client of mine, super successful guy, they brought a capital partner into their business, and the capital partner invested tens of millions of dollars. And the very first thing they did at the very first strategic planning meeting was lay out goals. And I often say to people, if this capital partner thinks that goal setting is important as a result of investing tens of millions of dollars, I think he's probably right. And I'm going to follow his instincts, not the person who says, I'm not really into all this formulaic goal setting stuff, right? So you're going to make a decision. Are you serious about your success or are you not? You know why most people don't want to write stuff down? Because it tells you at the end of the day, did you do anything? You see, I know that you're busy at work. I know you're busy doing a lot of things, but did you do the right things? You know, there's an old expression, the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. That's what the productivity funnel is all about. People don't like to write goals down because they don't like to be held accountable. They don't like to admit that they didn't follow through. I have a client of mine. I'm helping him raise a fund. And I remember one of the things is we use this applications within Google, and part of it was keeping track of the prospecting. And my first reaction was I was a little bit kind of put off that I needed to, because I was like, I'm mature. I mean, like, you don't trust me. But I realized it was like I was kind of struggling with some accountability. But you want to know something? I love it. I love it. Because first of all, it's a great marketing tool so that my client, who's also my friend, knows that I'm doing what he's Number two is if I don't do it, I know I didn't do it. Explanatory. First and foremost, right, on your annual goals, you'll see there it says SMART, right? The acronym SMART, SMART. It stands for, and again, at first I used to think like this is so elementary, right? Like everybody knows this, but in case you don't, this is what it stands for. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound, right? So is it specific where I understand exactly what you're trying to accomplish? Is it measurable? So I know if you did or didn't do it. Is it achievable? Or is it too big, right? Is it too much? Is it relevant to what you're trying to accomplish? And the time bound is, it's your annual goal, right? So your time bound is 12/31. Very simple, not hard, right? So every one of your goals needs to be smart. And I'll give you one example of one that's not smart and one that is. Smart goal of losing weight. I want to lose 10 pounds, right? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. I want to lose 10 pounds, right? Again, you see what I mean? Like it's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant. I want to lose weight. Well, how do I measure that? It's a concept, right? It's a concept. So what you want to make sure is that all your goals are smart. You see a section where it talks about the why? This is the key. If you haven't read Think and Grow Rich, read it. It's a great story. Tony Robbins is being taught by his mentor, is a guy named Jim Rohn, who's passed away, was one of the icons in our business. And he tells a story about how he went up to Jim Rohn and said to him, "Hey, Jim, you got any books that you think I should be reading?" He's like, "Have you read Think and Grow Rich?" And like everybody reads Think and Grow Rich when they get into the business, right? It's the first book you read. It's the Bible, right? And Tony Robbins is like, and Tony Robbins tells the story. He's like, "Seriously?" He said, "Of course I've read Think and Grow Rich." He said, "How many times?" Tony's like, "1." He's like, "I've read it 10 times, right? I'm a millionaire. You're not. Go read it." Right? In that book, he talks about something called the definite major purpose. He said the whole key to your success is you got to have a definite major purpose, which I translate as why. Why are you doing what you're doing? If it's just a concept, if it's just something you're dabbling in, if it's something that you think you might like, the chances of success are going to be significantly diminished. But if you have a powerful why, a burning why, like I got to get this done because, you up the odds of success dramatically. It's very simple. Choose one why. So all I want you to do is choose one why for each one of the goals. See where it says strategies? I don't need you to write a mini business plan. All I need you to do is to choose the one or two strategies, preferably one, that will ignite the flame. That's it. Here's a good example. I asked a friend of mine, how come how do you get out of bed in the morning and work out so early? Like, I would love to do that, but I'm just not an early riser. He said, real simple for me. He said, if I take my clothes out the night before and I put them next to my bed, then when I get out of my bed, my feet land on my stuff, I'll work out. If I don't and I have to go into my drawer, I won't. That is the key strategy. So let's say he says, I want to run 200 days a year before work, right? Why? Because I have a heart problem. I'm not saying my friend had a heart problem, but I have a heart problem, and this is to make sure that I keep my heart in good condition. That why? What's the strategy? Every night before I go to bed, put my stuff right next to my bed. So when I get up, my feet land on it. And I'll go out, I'll optimize, or I'll maximize the chances that I'm going to actually follow through. Okay? Breakthrough. Home stretch. See that right there where it says home stretch? This is my own little invention. I recognize that you're going to get distracted during the course of the year. And the likelihood of you executing all of your goals during the course of the year is very, very small. But you could get 3, maybe 4 done. You might get 5, don't get me wrong. But I'm here to tell you that just because you get 3 and they're the right goals, it doesn't mean you failed. You get 4 and they're good goals, doesn't mean you failed. Here's what the home stretch is all about. The home stretch for the annual goal is the last quarter. It means I got 1 quarter left. Let me take a look at what I said I was going to do. Maybe you didn't touch it at all, but you're going to do at least this in the final quarter to keep the ball rolling. Maybe you got it almost done, and I have to do this to close it out. Maybe it's done, and you're right, done. Maybe you didn't touch it at all, and you're like, I can't get to it. There's nothing, it's just for whatever reason, the circumstances are, I'm not going to do anything on it this year. I'm going to carry it over, or I'm going to abandon it. Then you just write that in the home stretch. But what I want to do is I want to give you an opportunity to take a look at your goals one last time to make that final push, right? Because it's not about 100% execution. It's about doing a really good job executing those priorities that you said were the key priorities at the outset, the beginning of the year. Okay? So that's what you have your quarterly. That's where you have your annuals. Now I want you to go to your quarterly. See how there's a top and the bottom there? Super simple. The top part is basically an accounting of what you did the prior quarter. So your first quarter, right? If this is the first time you ever filled out the productivity funnel, you're not going to have anything at the top, because what you're doing is you're setting your first set of quarterly goals. And your first set of quarterly goals are going to correspond to your annual goals, right? See how it's done? Now the linkage is there. Think of it like a pyramid on its side, right? Annual, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily. It's really simple. If you do what you say you're going to do, it's like walking. You can't help but get there. So now you have that linkage, right? So and you can see it's the same language, so you understand exactly what I'm talking about. Now, what I want you to do is think about you're coming into the second quarter of the first year, and you're now going to take a look at, before you fill out your goals for the second quarter, let's take a look at what we said we were going to do. And on the top part of the second quarter goal worksheet, I want you to present a diary entry, right? I want you to present a diary entry. And what I mean by a diary entry is, if you said you were going to meet 6 people and you only met 4, right? Met 4 of 6. If you said you were going to do this, but you didn't do it, right? Didn't do it. If you said that you were going to do this and you did it, right? Did it. For each one of the things that you said you were going to do, I want some measure of accountability before you go on and set the new set of goals. Then you'll see there's a section where it calls impact. And what I want you to do is I want you to, on a scale of 1 to 10, 0 being the lowest, you didn't do it, it's a 0. 10 being the highest, I want you to grade yourself. That's your execution goal, right? So let's say you got 6 out of 8 done, right? Maybe you give yourself an 8 on that. Let's say you got 4 out of 8 done, give yourself a 5. Suppose that you said you were going to do something, you didn't do anything, you give yourself a 0. I want you to add that up, and I want you to divide it by 5. And whatever that number is, right? That's your execution goal. What did you get, right, on your execution? Is it a 5.5, a 3.5, a 4.7? Now here's what's the key. At the top there, you see, I want you to give yourself an impact rate. And what I mean by impact is, how did you impact your business this quarter based on the goals that you did execute? Absolutely 7. It doesn't mean you got a 47. That's not what I'm translating into. You can give yourself an 8.0 and give yourself a C+. You can give yourself a 4.5 and give yourself a B-. It's really gut. And what I want you to do is I want you to give yourself an execution grade. Are you executing your goals? And then what's the impact of the goals? Because there's 2 parts, right? You can get 5 goals done, but if it doesn't move your business forward, you get an F. Look, what I want to make sure you do is that you stay focused on that which is important. And I want you to have some degree of self-accountability. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're just setting goals that are just basically a wish list, and you're going to get distracted. The key is to focus on executing, give yourself a grade, and then what was the impact on what you did on your business. Then you go to the bottom part for the second quarter and you fill in the new fresh set. Now, guys, here's the deal. Some of the things up top may carry down below. Some of the things got partially done and you want to do the second part of it. So what happens is kind of like a trickle down. You have the trickle down goals, and then what's left is maybe a couple of spots there for you where you put in new goals. Again, you relate to your annual. Then what I want you to do is I want you to take a look at your monthly. See, the monthly looks familiar, right? Just like the quarterly. I don't need to give you an explanation. You know exactly what I'm talking about now. What I want you to do is I want you to identify your first month, January. What are the 5 goals that you're going to get done this month, right? Then at the end of January, before you fill out February, you're going to do your diary entry at the top there. You're going to give yourself a grade, and then you're going to fill out the February goals. Now, super important, guys, is this. You don't have to look at your annual and your quarterly and your monthly all the time. You're only going to look at your annuals 4 times a year. Every time you fill out a quarterly goal worksheet. That's it. You're going to look at your quarterly 12 times a year. Every time you fill out a monthly. You see, so don't get worried about like, okay, I'm looking at my annual, I'm looking at my quarterly, I'm looking at my monthly. No. If you're focused on the monthly, you want to look at your quarterly to make sure that you're filling out the right monthly goals. If you're focused on your quarterly, you want to look at your annual to make sure you're filling out the right quarterly goals. Really super simple. So once you fill out your annual, don't worry about it. But for 4 times a year, don't even look at it ever again. Once you fill out your quarterly, don't look at it except for once a month. Don't look at it at all. It's not necessary. Just focus on the monthly. Now transition to the weekly. This is killer. This will transform your life. I know I say that a lot, but I mean, there's so many things that I've done that have transformed my life and transformed my business that are so simple. It's incredible. And this weekly form, I actually use it as a daily form. When I first started my business, I used it as a daily form and I filled it out, every day. And here's what I did. See, there's 2 columns there, in the business and on the business, right? So actually on the left side is on the business, on the right side is in the business. On the business means you're growing your business. It relates to the promotion of you, the promotion of your business, generating revenue, growing your business. In the business is more administrative stuff, right? Things that have to get done that don't relate, that if you take your attention away and you focus on these, it's not going to grow your business. Now, they both need to get done. And in the very beginning, when you're self-employed and you're the only employee, you have to do both sides of the equation. The idea is, over the course of time, is you want to give that in the business stuff as much as possible, delegate it to other people. But you got to do double duty for a while. So what I would do is I would actually fill this out every day. So I use it as a brainstorming worksheet. It's not about what I'm going to do just this week. Anything that's on my radar screen, gets put on that sheet. Anything, right? When do you think I fill it out? I fill it out on Friday or Saturday or Sunday before Monday comes, because I don't want to fill it out during, as after work begins, because I know what happens. I get overwhelmed, right? I can't afford to get overwhelmed. I got to stay focused on what's important. So what I got to make sure I do is I fill this out so that when it comes time to execute during the course of the week, all I need to do is look down on my weekly goal worksheet, and it's all about the tactics on that worksheet. I got to do this, got to do this, got to do this, got to do this. I don't have to think about strategy. All I do have to think about is execution. Now, when I fill this form out, what do you think I look at? Right, my monthly. So I look at my monthly goal worksheet 4 times a month or 5 times a month, right? Because I use it to inform me about what I should fill out on my weekly goal worksheet. Now, guys, super important. Keep this in mind, okay? So during the course of the week, something pops up that needs to get done, I put it down because I don't want to forget it. I put it down on the left or the right-hand side, right? What I actually do is I copy it front and back, and I have the same document front and back, because oftentimes things pop up in the business and on the business during the course of the week, and it runs longer than just what I have on the front side. So I have it on the back side too, so I can keep adding. But at the end of the week, my worksheet is a mess. It's an absolute mess. And the reason is because I'm crossing stuff out. I'm writing stuff down. But at the end of the day, I don't forget anything. And when I do, I get so upset at myself, right? Because I know I have a procedure in place to keep it in mind. This weekly goal worksheet is about keeping things in front of you, right? It's about keeping things in front of you. Keep pushing, like think about a little kid and you're building a snowman and you keep rolling it and rolling it and rolling it and rolling it. That's what this weekly goal worksheet is all about, right? So everything you can think of that's on your radar screen, put it down. Then what you do at the end of the week is all the things that aren't crossed over, you carry them over. And then you fill in anything else that comes to mind. Guys, I have things on my weekly priority worksheet that are on there for months. They didn't become a goal, right? For whatever reason, maybe it popped into my head after the goal, got onto my radar screen. After I wrote the goal down, it popped into my mind, or got on my radar screen. But I put it down because I don't want to forget it. And I carried over, and I carried over, and I carried over, and I carried over. And then during the course of the week, new things come, and I write them down, write them down, write them down, write them down. So what happens is I'm constantly using this to keep myself moving forward. I did this on a daily basis. I did it for 6 or 8 months on a daily basis, and it was extraordinary. The results that I produced, absolutely extraordinary. My degree of intentionality went through the roof. I'm not saying you have to do that. Weekly, I think, is fine. But if you want to go monthly, if you want to go daily, I did, to jumpstart your business or jumpstart your career, go for it. This is about what works for you. Now, guys, here's what I always tell my clients. You got 2 options. There are 3 options, but you have only 2. First option is, Tim, I love it. I'm going to do exactly as you present it. Second option is, I love the concept. I like to do it a little bit differently. That sounds great. Third option, I don't like it. I'm not into goal setting. Those are your 3 options. If you want to be successful, it's either A or B, number 1 or number 2. Number 3 is not an option, right? You may get there, but you're going to make it a lot harder, and it's going to take way more time than it has to. Okay, so that is my productivity funnel workbook. Now, I want to share one other thing with you. What I do the night before, the next day, is what I do is I look at my weekly priority worksheet, and I pick 3 things that I need to get done the next day. 3 things. Does it mean I don't do anything more than those 3? No, it doesn't mean that at all. It's in addition to those 3. And you'll be shocked at how hard it is to get those 3 things done, because things get in the way. You bite off more than you can chew. But what I do is I fight to keep those the priority. And then guess what? At the end of the day, maybe I got 2 done. The one that I didn't get done gets carried over to the next day. I add 2 more. You see, it's like walking, right? If you're choosing the right goals and you're executing, you cannot help to get from here to there. Similarly, if you put one foot in front of the other, you can't help but get from here to there. It's all about commitment. It's all about how hard you want to work. So super fired up about the productivity funnel workbook. I think you're going to love it. It's self-explanatory, but nevertheless, I wanted to share this video with you to highlight some of the areas that you may need a little more instruction on. And as always, if you have some questions, let's raise them on the implementation call, because I guarantee you're not going to be alone. Okay? And remember, you are your best bet. So get to work.